Hey movie junkies, welcome back to another episode of Twin Flicks, where we always here celebrating the magic of movies and most importantly, physical media. This video is going to be a little bit different than I usually. I'm not doing a 4K versus Blu-ray comparison review. I'm not going to be talking about physical media. Instead, I'm doing a review of a screener that I received a few weeks ago from Harpoon Films. And honestly, I wanted to get this out much sooner than I have, but if you've been following me on social media, you know why I haven't really done any reviews because some family matters have come up and it just got in the way. But I'm finally here and we're going to review Cult Killer. So like I said, I was sent an early screener of the film Cult Killer, which stars Antonio Banderas and Alice Eve. The film will play in limited theaters starting January 19th, and then it makes its way onto VOD. And I'll be honest here, full disclosure, when I first learned about this movie Cult Killer, while I did see the trailers, it looked interesting, I honestly just kind of shrugged it off as another one of those direct-to-VOD, Walmart brand type movies that stars that one actor, that one A-list actor who used to be huge back in the day. Yeah, you know those movies I'm talking about. So I honestly just didn't have much interest in watching the film. That was until I did, when I finally sat down and had time to watch and review this movie, and to my pleasant surprise, I really enjoyed the film. Now, the movie revolves around a private detective played by Banderas and his apprentice played by Alice Eve, who investigate a series of grisly murders and go on the hunt to find the killer before the killer strikes again, which leads them down a dark journey as they find out the motivations behind the killing, and also that the killer is targeting members of a wealthy elite for a purpose that is best left unsaid. You have to find that out with watching the film. Now, what made Cult Killer really work for me is that while the murderer is committing these savage and heinous murders, they are done on those who themselves committed a routine act of truly despicable, abusive acts themselves, which really puts you in the killer's shoes. I found myself thinking, well, if I went through that, if I experienced this, I may want to do the same. So the movie carries a big conflict of morality there. What I also liked about the movie was really how it was made. While yes, we get some gruesome kills, they decided to go the less is more route, meaning the filmmakers decided to avoid showing, brutally excessive gore or shock appeal. This movie isn't Saw, I'll put it that way. However, at the same time, the movie isn't restrained in depicting sexual abuse with disturbing imagery, which works to the movie's benefit, and also it's done tastefully. It's, again, not done for shock appeal, where the movie never glorifies any of these acts. The movie is also filled with rich development of characters, with flashbacks, where you find yourself caring for each character, including the killer, as I said before. You can understand the motivations behind the murders. And the movie did leave me on the edge of my seat. Now, honestly, is Cult Killer the best movie I've seen recently? No, it's not. You're not going to go into this movie expecting it to be on the same level as, say, Seven or Silence of the Lambs. It's just not that. There are some definite flaws and problems with the movie, from script problems. I have to say the investigation elements were very flimsy, meaning there just wasn't much to it. There needed to be more for Banderas and Alice Eve to do with the investigation. Instead, it just felt like they kind of quickly skimmed over the investigation elements to get to the good stuff. Also, the editing could have been tightened up a little bit more to give better pacing. And honestly, I do think that under the helm of a more seasoned director, the movie would have worked better. But I also understand how hard it is to make these types of movies, especially under a low budget restraints. So I do applaud of how well the movie does work. In the end, while no, this isn't on the same level as Seven or Silence of the Lambs, the movie still has its fair share of suspense, good kills, some thrills, mystery, and drama, wrapped around strong performances by Antonio Antonio Banderas and Alice Eve, who keep the movie moving in the right direction and that kept me engaged throughout. So I'm giving Cult Killer a score of a 3.5 out of a 5. So go rent it for your movie night. All right, well, I want to thank you so much for hanging out for a few minutes here with me talking about Cult Killer. I want to give a huge shout out to Harpoon Films for sending us this screener, and we'll see you next time.